So pricing your cakes is very important, that you need to know to price your baked products or the cakes really right. And you should be confident in pricing your cakes to be able to sell your products to your clients or even setting up your home baking business. Okay. So the basic formula to understand pricing is to include all the cost of the ingredients that you're using. Say if you're going to use 150 grams of all-purpose flour in your recipe, you should be able to calculate the price of the 150 grams of all-purpose flour, and you bought the all-purpose flour for 500 grams or 1 kg for so much rupees, and you should be able to calculate what is the exact cost of each of the ingredients that you have used, like say 1 egg and then say maybe 100 grams of butter, and all the ingredients cost should be added, and you have to multiply that whole thing by 3. And when you have that value, that will be your base cost of the product that you want to sell. And when you multiply by 3, the first part is the cost of the ingredients, the second part is your wastage and your overheads, and your third part is the profit that you make. Now on top of this, you can have your own additional margin, which will be anywhere between 25% to about 50% or 30% or 40%, depending on how you want to add. And when you have this 25 to 50% of the additional margin onto the base price, and that will be the cost of the product that you want to sell. Now on top of this, you have to add the actuals like the cake boxes or the stickers or the knives or the candles or the fresh flowers and things like that. They will be added on actuals to the final price of the cake, which also has the additional margin. Now on top of this will be the delivery charges that you need to send out the cake. Now if there are a prolonged time that you have to sit on the cake and then decorate, then obviously there has to be more charges added to the time and effort that you are putting to decorate a cake. That involves a lot of time. Now this base pricing will be for the baked goodies like the cookies, brownies and tarts, and it also involves for the cakes that are layered and then frosted. A simple sharp edges, clean finished half a kg to 1 kg to even 2 kgs cake like that is not going to have additional time, because that is the basic skill that is needed for a baker to finish a cake and then send it out. Okay, so all these inputs are very important to be able to note it down and then work on the pricing and to be able to deliver your product with the right pricing. Now, theoretically, this is the input that you need to understand what is required for pricing your cake. And however, I definitely feel that you should take the help of a well-defined and working workbook that is part of another small class of Fondbites, which has an elaborate study on the cake pricing, and it is a separate course itself. Now, I recommend that you go and purchase that course from Fondbites, because that by itself is an entire subject. When you go through that and have an understanding of that particular course, then you will be able to have the pricing calculated automatically. So the Excel sheet or the workbook that is part of that particular course will automatically calculate all this profit margin and additional margin. It will enable you to have a recipe, and it will calculate the cost of whatever the ingredients measurement in that particular recipe is. So that is a very, very efficient workbook that will help you to make your pricing life much, much easier. So if you are interested and if you really want to understand pricing better, then you could just go purchase that course as an addition to all this learning you've done as part of this course, and be able to price your cakes much more confidently. And if you have doubts on that particular course, you could still get back and ask how would you want to further customize to your needs if you have doubts. So most of it has been covered in that. In case if there are doubts, you could just check with me or the mentors, and we'll be able to guide you how to use that particular Excel sheet that comes as part of another smaller course.